Here's what's happening, because it's not just one group of aliens.
What's the different groups?
The big five.
Okay, tell me what's going on.
Let me begin. Because this is really, I'm telling you, Joe, this is a real deal.
We're listening to you.
Well, first off, elves is the main group.
Okay.
And they call them the elves. It's clockwork elves.
I don't think you're allowed to say that anymore.
There are bad things that look like elves that have horns when they show you who they really are.
Damn.
They're bad aliens.
I'm with you.
AI is alien.
Like a robot?
Yeah, they're like robots coming to kill you.
Jesus Christ.
The chimeras are alien.
And there's a hive mind sort of thinking to a lot of this.
They want the organs. I swear on my kids, I told you the truth about that.
I believe you. I believe you.
They're coming after everybody.
Jeez.
It's a breakaway civilization, dude. We don't know what they got. Joe, they're control freaks.
Well, everybody's a
That's why I'm so
freak.
glad you're in the fight now. These guys are on stuff that like nobody even knows.
What do you think they're on?
Stuff they've been given.
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
You know, there's like armed guys with machine guns.
That is a group of people that were obsessed with combat.
About the most fearless killers there are.
Do you think that's from their heritage of war?
I mean, it's just like, it's mental illness, man.
Yeah. That's
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
Not playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing
I'm very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
all lies will be exposed.
Who are these people?
Hello, everyone. This is a very rare evening live stream show that we're doing here at Hardlands Media, but it is something that, look, I feel like, first of all, there's been a lot of, I've been reading the articles from INN. INN has been a great source of information for me. They got a lot of great programming there, and not to mention the great talent that's there. There's Steve Poikman, Indy from INN News. You have Reef Breland. You have, of course, how can we forget Jesse Jett and the countless others that make up the INN community. But joining me here today is somebody who I like to call a good friend, somebody I could call a brother, and somebody who I want to bring onto the show. So give it up for Indy from INN. Indy, how are you doing, my friend?
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully.
Yes, loud and clear, 10 by 10. There
nice.
We go.
All right. Good to hear. All right. Well, it's good to be back. Yeah. So I wish I were back under happier circumstances, but unfortunately I have some stuff to report about Rokfin, which we had talked about. God, how many months ago was it? Maybe 6 months or so ago. September, October I came on.
Yeah,
right?
something like that. Something like around September, October, I would believe. It was around that time, but at first I would assume that at least that things were somewhat acceptable, or either maybe things were starting to make for a turn. But then again, that's my idealism working. And, here's the thing. When I wish for something, it just never comes true. I always want there to be a best case scenario, and I want everyone to succeed on all platforms. And, Indie News Network, like Hardlands Media, we've diversified. We're on Twitter. We're on X. We're on Kick. Twitter, X and Kick, X, Kick, Rumble, Odyssey, YouTube, etc. And, INN, you guys are on different platforms too. And really a huge shout out to you guys for helping us get more established on Substack. But there seems to be some problems happening on Rokfin for you guys in particular. And I also caught notice of an interesting interaction between Rokfin, somebody managing that account on X, as well as Steve Poikman. Now, he has a pretty huge following on the Rokfin platform, and in turn, a lot of questions are being brought up. So let's start from the beginning. Indy, the floor is yours. There seems to be a little bit of a back and forth between Rokfin and Indie News Network. So from your perspective, from everything that's been happening to you guys, where did this all start? How did this happen? I have an article here that you guys also took part in writing. So what's going on?
Yeah. So if you want to go all the way back to the beginning, we've been Rokfin fans, subscribers, and a lot of that in that intro background talks a little bit about it. It's got a bunch of the other articles that I published about this. And look, we were believers. Hardlands Media, we're on Rokfin, I believe, right now. Look, we've been bought into this platform and driven an audience there and built a community there of people that go there to watch independent media. And over the last couple of years, we had seen that it had gone from a platform that supported us, and they just didn't do anything to really help much. They did maybe one or two major upgrades to the technology, but they had this crypto token that kept changing in value. Then they had technical issues that they had not been addressing. And in June of 2024, last June, our channel for INN stopped being able to live stream. And I got on the email and StreamYard with one of their tech support people, showed him what was happening. He was able to replicate the problem, and they were not able to fix it. And
wait. So they replicated the problem, but they couldn't fix it? I mean,
they have no fix. They still have no fix. It's still like that right now. If I went to live stream, they don't know what to do. They don't have an answer, and they did not know what to do for me other than to say, we're sorry. I guess we're going to offboard you now. And, oh yeah, by the way, you already have another channel. So this isn't really that big a deal, except that if I go back and I look at the history, 3/4 of the tips that had come in and the monthly subscriptions that had come in, through either of those channels had come in through the INN channel, not through the original, the other channel that we had, which was Indian INN. And the URL was rokfin.com/INN, a good one and one about our network. It would have made it really easy. Like, do you want us to set up a separate channel, rokfin.com/Indie News Network, and we'll basically start over, put the archive, the history in one thing? And they offered no solutions. Not only that, but I offered a bunch of tech support things that I wanted to maybe see them fix. They wouldn't address any of those other than to say, yeah, thanks, these are good ideas, but they didn't do any of them and didn't address any of them. So this was going on all summer. I'm pinging them about once every couple of weeks. Hey, any news on our channel? And we were streaming all summer there. Come end of August, I noticed that the payments that we had been getting on a regular basis started like we hadn't gotten one. And then in September, it happened again where we hadn't gotten paid out. We were usually getting paid out like the 5th or the 6th of the month after the month had changed. All the tips they had collected the prior month, they would pay that out from dollars into Ray tokens. And nobody got a dime. And I started messaging all the other creators I know on the platform, say, hey, did you get paid? Did you get paid? And a bunch of people hadn't. That was why I had originally started writing this article, was saying it looks like they're trying to rip off the creators.
Right. Because
and what I tried,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off here, but like from what we've known about Rokfin is that they used the RE token. I remember that was a pretty big deal back in the day, especially during the beginning days of the Biden-Harris administration, where a lot of people were being censored and demonetized and losing a lot. And the Rokfin was, I guess, one of the new players on the ground, and they were offering a different kind of system altogether. So it's kind of rather odd that this whole new change would happen. So what went down with that?
Well, the deal with the Ray token to me is they put their belief in the fact that they could take real money from people and then give out the equivalent of, you know, a crypto, whatever you want to call it, something that had value because it was a participant in a platform. It had, you know, it represented some actual product or service of a company that had money. So it wasn't exactly like a meme coin in that way, but it very much acted like a meme coin. It fluctuated in value for no reason whatsoever other than when people bought or sold it. But it wasn't because of any new technical innovation or something that was announced, an earnings announcement or something like that. It didn't. That's not what changed the price of the coin. Anyway, getting back to the Ray token was how Rokfin paid for itself, because again, they were taking in real money and only paying out in the Ray tokens, which had value and had some kind of value that they had to put away from the real money to account for that. The difference was their profit that supported the entire thing. And so in June of 2022, and I missed this email, and apparently a lot of other people did too, they sent out an email. That's not even the one I'm talking about. I don't think it's even in there. But they sent out an email to all the creators to say, hey, you know, we're actually moving away from the coin that we're basing it on, this Ray. And they didn't even say that they're moving away from the Ray. They said that they're moving the liquidity pool from ETH, which is Ethereum, to USDC on Uniswap. Most people have no idea what that is. They didn't really explain it very well. They never called anybody. They sent one email. And if you missed that email, it was very important for you to take action. Then you've missed out on getting paid out in a more stable coin for the last 2+ years. And you have also not been accumulating a token that now is worthless, because on February 17th, they sunset the Ray token and abandoned it entirely, making it worth zero.
This happened in February of 2024?
2025, like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
They just sunset this. And in February, anyone that was still on Rokfin getting paid, instead of getting Ray tokens, they got USDC. And Rokfin never told them they were making that switch. Now, most people wouldn't care. They'd actually kind of prefer it, because we would have to convert from Ray to USDC and then to get that to money anyway. So it was like an intermediary that we had to go through, and it cut out a step. But in sunsetting the token, a lot of people were stuck with wallets that had Ray tokens that are now worthless. I've spoken with at least 5 creators that had hundreds. One showed me one for 2,800, and one is telling me that they have over 30,000 Ray tokens sitting in a wallet right now that they can't touch.
So to be clear here, just to be clear for everyone that's watching, so if you are in possession of an RAE token, at least from what you have seen, what you have put together, and from what Rokfin has indicated in its email, that the RAE token is now officially $0.00. It's beyond that. Like, can you clarify that a little bit more, Indy?
Yeah, it's frozen at a price of 46 cents per coin. It is no longer listed as an active coin. However, there is no exchange where you can actually trade it for another coin. To my knowledge and understanding, when I tried to use, I have a couple of wallets that have Ray tokens, and when I tried to exchange it for USDC, it wouldn't allow me to do that.
Now, wasn't RAE also in some ways connected to Ethereum? Is that correct, or am I misremembering?
It was. So it was pinned to Ethereum, and it still was beyond 2022 if you did not make that switch over. So what was happening was, if you had not made the switch, every time you tried to withdraw Ray and exchange it, you would have to pay a gas fee, or like a bank fee, effectively, in order to exchange it on the Ethereum network. And because the price of Ethereum went crazy, the gas fees were sometimes $100 just to be able to take out $100 worth of Ray. It literally zeroed you out.
Wow. Holy cow. All right. So in other words, and in its current state, as you said, it's frozen at 46 cents, correct? So if somebody had 20 RAE tokens or 100 or 200, I mean, whatever the token is, it is worth 46 cents, correct?
Well, right now, but good luck finding a place to exchange it, or B, anyone that'll actually give you 46 cents for it, because it's not really worth 46 cents. That's what it was on the last day that it was an active coin.
Oh, okay.
Today, if I go to a Coinbase wallet, it says that there is no value next to that. But other coins, it shows there is a dollar value as they convert the price of the coin times the number of coins that you have of that coin. When you see that under Ray, there's no value at it says how many you have, but it doesn't show the 46 cents or the actual price.
Now, I want to give a huge shout out to one of my colleagues, one of my good friends here on the show, Dr. Nick on Kick, who writes, well, that's not cool. 46 cents times 30K is 13,800. But at least according to this now, Dr. Nick, you need to reevaluate that, because if it's truly saying it's on the Coinbase that it has no value, that means nobody's getting anything. So
no, it's zero. Now the thing is that it was $1. At one point, the Ray token went as high as $4.50 for like a day in 2021. But
I remember that moment. I do remember that moment.
It was glorious. I actually had some, and I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be rich. Like everyone was, we're going to the moon, but that's how the Ponzi works. That's how a Ponzi scheme works. They pump you, and then they rug pull. And so that's effectively, to me, what Rokfin has done with the people who held Ray tokens is they rug pulled them. Now, some of them have reached out to Rokfin and complained, and allegedly Rokfin is saying that they're going to make good and pay out and offer some kind of an exchange for them to get them out of that, or give them some kind of money, because technically what they've done is stolen the money from creators, that their audience paid to tip them. And Rokfin was supposed to take a cut and give them the Ray tokens, but the Ray tokens were supposed to hold value.
Okay, so now going forward then, let's look at this article here, because we talk, so I think you laid a pretty good groundwork. So now what happened on October 15th, 2024? You reach out to Matt and Martin. So what happened here? So what exactly went down here?
So after I had written all these articles, I had gotten no response, and this was the second month where they were late paying, and by October 15th, I was hearing again that creators had not been paid for the month of September, or were just starting to get paid for the month of September, but still that was 10 days late with no professional explanation whatsoever. To people that depend on this for their money, I mean, there's no reason for them to hold on to it for in some cases 45 days. If they got paid on September 1st as a tip, there's no reason for them to hold on to that money until October 15th. None. All right? Because that's not even their money. They take their cut and they pass it on. So I sent an email, very detailed and bulleted, to the two contacts that I had at Rokfin, and I blacked out their contact emails so that, to protect their identities, to protect they don't get bombarded with spam. I'm not looking to hurt them. All right. But I don't like what they're doing here. I want them to make good, and I want them to come clean and at least communicate and tell us what the hell there is going on. They have continued to completely stonewall ignore every single thing that I've written here and written across the months, and other than a response to this. So I sent a very detailed email to Martin and Matt, and I said, guys, we got problems here. Tell me about this new company that you registered an LLC last month and explain what's going on there. And does that have anything to do with Rokfin? What are you doing to fix the technical issues? Okay. Are you going to start providing monthly statements? Because you stopped doing that at the beginning of this year. We have no idea what you're paying out, how much you're taking in commission, what the exchange rate is that you're paying on. We're just taking your word for it, bro. And that's not really cool. All right. And then also, what are you doing moving forward to support the Ray token? I specifically asked. Now, that tells me that they knew then that they were getting rid of the token, because 2.5 years ago, they were already telling people to get off the ETH liquidity pool and onto USDC. So they could have told me then, hey, you should switch your wallet over to USDC if you're still using Ray and ETH. They never did. They never did.
All right.
All right.
So
That makes me even madder, because they knew I was holding Ray. They were still paying out in Ray, but they knew that at some point in the near future, they were going to shut the Ray off and flip everybody over, but they were still going to hold it in their wallets. Are you kidding me?
wow. All right. So then going forward, then there seems to be another follow-up response where Martin responds, "Hey, Indy, I'm genuinely sorry the platform isn't working for you and others. I'm happy to make your transition off the platform as smooth as possible." Okay. After reading the second sentence, let's take, for example, let's say I was in charge of a video platform. It is my goal to keep content creators, no matter who they are, to stay on board. I want them to be happy with said platform. He goes on to say, I see you have people subscribe to your channel. We can do everything we can to let them know to follow you and your content wherever you want. Let's do this transition right.
But what does that even mean, first of all?
Exactly. Exactly.
The wonderful Anna Mayers is in the chat right now. She was the one paid subscriber that we still had left on Rokfin at that point. We had already stopped streaming for a couple of months, and we never had very many subscribers, but what we were getting was quite a few tips because we didn't make any content premium. And that, I think, was something and a source of contention for Rokfin, that they were always saying, hey, you should make some premium because it gives people a reason to subscribe monthly, and then you get a piece of everything they watch across the platform, not just on your channel, et cetera, et cetera. And we were just like, no, we're not going to do that. We don't want to paywall any of our content. So we never did. And again, we continued to get a decent amount of tips, especially toward the end there, right when we decided to turn it off. And it's unfortunate, but we weren't sure when we were going to get paid out, at what rate. And if we continued to stream there was a chance that people were going to subscribe and pay us and pay a tip there, which meant we would have to deal with more of these tokens, which we didn't want to have to deal with at that point. All right.
Agreed. Okay.
So now Martin offers to offboard us, and I'm like kind of upset. Like, dude, your platform is broken. I've offered to help. I've been a champion. Like, why are you treating me like this? It's just because you don't know how to fix a technical problem that you'd rather I just shut up and go away. And because I don't have a big platform, you wouldn't fix it. Because if I was big enough, if I was Sam Tripoli, for example, or maybe even Steve Poikonen, or certainly the NCAA, which is where they're at right now, he would have fixed these issues. Mm-hmm. But I don't necessarily blame the founder himself, although he's the leader of the ship. It's the fact that they shed their technical team, and the main person who all the creators were dealing with left in January of 2024, and everything just went completely downhill after that.
Right. And by the way, with your own experience, let's say, for example, you're not at your laptop or your computer right away. You have an awesome system set up. By the way, I really like how you have your whole thing all set up, especially when you got to get up the graphics and all the animation. But let's say you're on your smartphone and you want to watch a program on Rokfin using the app. Has there been any problems with you guys using the app as well, or what's been the situation with that?
Well, I mean, we've heard certainly a lot from the users about the chat being kind of laggy, or it moving around, as you scroll. Or I think now you can actually minimize the stream and do other stuff like watch Twitter, go and listen to the thing and still have it playing. YouTube makes you have to have premium for that. So that's one of the things. But really, to watch a lot of the videos on Rokfin, it's a destination platform that we had a small number of people watching us to begin with, and it just became a pain in the butt. All right. There's this thing right now, like when Kit goes live, I'm telling you, here's a little inside baseball. When he goes live on Rokfin, he's got to look at the Rokfin backend panel. He doesn't have to look at YouTube. He doesn't have to look at any of the others. He's got one central thing in StreamYard. But because Rokfin has to be a pain in the ass, you have to go to the Rokfin dashboard and click a red button that says, no, I'm actually going live right now. No other platform that makes you stream does that except for Telegram.
I have not had that problem with. Sorry, look, with all the drama going on with Twitch, like I said, I have not had that problem with Kick. Shout out to my Kick people. I haven't had that problem with Rumble. Never once with X or even on YouTube. It's just that's been a situation too that I've noticed. It's always raised an eyebrow from me. But now let's actually go back a little bit and go into February. Now, Steve Poikin, he has a huge following on Rokfin. We mentioned that earlier in this live stream, and he's the founder of Slow News Day. He has a show called AM Wake Up. That's fine. And so something happened where he had a little bit of an exchange, a back and forth with the Rokfin account on X. Now, I mean, it's a pretty big deal when a platform does respond to you on a social media thing. So what essentially set this thing off where Rokfin and Steve Poikman, Slow News Day, had an interaction, which, by the way, I was very taken aback by the conversation or the wordage between Rokfin and Steve.
Well, I screen capped all the tweets there for all to see, but the first one there, it didn't even start with Rokfin. It started with Steve making an appeal to Rumble to say, hey, Steve, hey, Rumble, this is what the top videos on the top live streams for the month on Rokfin looks like. 8 out of the 12 are my live streams. People can't find my channel. They can't find my live streams, and we're never shown on the homepage of Rumble. Can you imagine how many people would be watching on the Rumble platform if I can do this on Rokfin with almost no help, but no suppression, and certainly an equal playing field? Because Rumble, isn't really equal playing field. They're pushing the creators that they've given money to first. All right. The creators that are bought into their Rumble Studio and their partner program. They're amplifying the creators that are gaming. They're amplifying Slapfight and Barstool and a bunch of other things. But for independents, there's Glenn Greenwald and Jimmy Dore and several others. But the real independent channels like ours, we don't get a lot of love in the algorithm or in the placement on the homepage very often from Rumble. And Steve, has a couple of hundred people watching live already on Rumble, and Rumble has a much larger audience than Rokfin, and he had 250 watching on Rokfin on a regular basis every morning. So that should translate to 400 or 500 theoretically on Rumble. The idea, so he said, look, my videos are topped on Rokfin. They could be great and do better on Rumble. It seems that you're burying our stuff. And here are some of the other channels here. You bent over backwards to promote people on Rokfin who don't get views on the site. All right. Because Rokfin took offense and said, look, Rokfin's tanking their platform. And The Ray token has disappeared. So they were like, really? Tanking the platform? Really, bro? Like one of those? And he lays it out. He's like, no, deliberate. Are you serious? Yes. So in the next tweet, he starts going at them. That one. All right. Started strong, went so far downhill. You didn't pay out until a series of articles by Indy finally got anyone to respond at all to emails. The chat still blows. The mobile app has been crap for 6 years. You do nothing in terms of advertising. And Ray is at like 47 cents. Now, he didn't even know at that point that the Ray token was inactive for 3 days already because they never told anyone. There's still been no official communication from Rokfin to any of its creators that they sunset the Ray token. Half of them don't even know.
All right. Wow. And by the way, shout out to Birdhouse Blues on Rumble Bumble says, my bad. Hardlands Media and Indie following now. Well, thank you so much for following both of our platforms. Again, I can't thank INN for all of its hard work and especially having many of its creators on my show, interviewing them and doing a lot of good content with them. So let's continue on. We read this previous tweet here where he mentions Nico House and a few others.
And T-Lav, right?
Yes,
shout out to T-Lav, all Indie Media Award honorees, the best of the best, just like Hardlands, just like Hardlands Media. But, he said, feel free to talk me out of this line of thinking, but from the perspective of the content creator that kills it here, it looks and feels shady as hell. Garland Nixon had to call me yesterday to ask why he hadn't been paid because you didn't let any of us know about the USDC switch, meaning that they stopped paying in Ray and paid out for the month of February in USDC without telling anyone why, how, or where to find it, or that they would be getting a different token to pay out what the rate would be, what their cut would be. No notification, no communication to my knowledge.
Wow. Again, damn. All right, that is not.
This is
good.
A company. This is a scam.
Well, let's be clear on this one here, because right now there's a lot of questions that do need to be asked about overall Rokfin's engagement. Because here's the thing: I remember way early on during the Biden-Harris administration when Hardlands Media first got its shadow ban, which was a very devastating 6 months for myself and my colleague Daniel. We really didn't know what was going to happen to us at that point in time. We almost thought like that was the end for Hardlands. And then we went to Rokfin. A lot of people went to Rokfin. I remember even Nico House and Craig, shout out to Pasta, were the ones talking about Rokfin. And my goodness, how things have changed. So here was Rokfin's response, and it's still up there on their Twitter account. Now, these are screenshots from the Rokfin account that you put in this article, Indy. So here we were seeing all the people being tagged in. Number one,
right, they're responding to Steve, right?
Right, this is a response to Steve. Number one, Rokfin is a premium subscription platform. It costs money to run a site. Of course it does, which is why we charge a subscription fee and keep it ad-free. We don't advertise free content that's already on multiple platforms. Now, number two, our focus is on helping creators build recurring revenue through premium content, which is why we moved from the RE network to paying in money. All right. Number three.
Whatever money is, except it's not real money. It's still crypto money. It's Circle. It's stable coin. So they're still taking real cash and paying out not necessarily real cash. So they have to actually use that cash at a 1-to-1 ratio, basically to buy USDC and then transfer it into those wallets. So they're not stealing the money. They're taking their cut, and the 25 or 30%. It was supposed to originally be like 20%. Then it became like 26%. Then it became 28%. Now it's like over 30. So, and that's not even clear there's no transparency to what that rate is. Okay, but again, Rokfin smacking down Steve for having a value for value model that got plenty of tips, and we'll get into my response. And I responded to every one of these weak ass responses, even though they never acknowledged them.
Right here, all of your content on Rokfin is free. We may have been more of a fit for you when every platform was censoring the hell out of any teeny bit of truth a creator would utter. That's not a horrible choice of words there, because 2020, I still have PTSD from that year. The times have changed, and most platforms are now open to the truth. I did not get that memo.
Nope.
What memo? Number 4, this one was really odd because I will say this. I know each platform has its problems, but I would never see Kick, X, YouTube, or Rumble uttering these words. If you are unhappy, we are happy to offload you or offboard you. Let us know. No platform has ever done that or said that. I've never seen that before, ever. Now, if a platform is going to ban somebody or remove them, yeah, that happens. But I never once seen anyone behind a social media platform account indicate that, especially to somebody who has such a large following on Rokfin, to Steve Porkman. So, Indy, how do you feel about that when that was tweeted out on Easy Street?
Well, I had a lot to say about that. First of all, I went backwards. So I started with the last tweet where they were offering to offboard, and that it sounded awfully familiar. And I said, throw up your hands, take zero accountability for the deficiencies that were laid out, and then offer to offboard. What the fuck? This isn't a business. This is a scam. I told them straight to their face. Slow News Day Show and AM Wake Up were getting plenty of tips, but you tanking the Ray and ETH gas fees killed any chance of a creator making money. Your failures have cost him money. And then you turn around and treated him like that? Have you even reached out to one of your biggest creators on your platform to check in? I know that the answer is no. Wow. Every creator should pay attention to this, and not enough did, unfortunately, but it got some people looking and thinking, and I know Ryan from Last American Vagabond, a few others had something to say. Look at the next one, because I was incensed. When your app has issues, your chat has issues, the crypto conversion is a problem, and you still haven't fixed our live streaming issue, nor did you give any indication that you will fix it. You still don't, still busted. This was 5 months ago when I wrote this, and that had been busted for 5 months. Like,
wow. And then going on here,
yeah. Again, the Ray token tanking, right? You don't offer a premium enough experience beyond ad free at this point. Right, that you can charge people $15 a month. Your revenue model was broken and you gaslit us. Tips plus $10 monthly subs were the right move. Right now, Rumble is eating your lunch. Let's lay it on the table. And now Rumble, let's lay it on the table, is offering a premium subscription for $9.99 a month to remove all the ads. So you go ad free just like Rokfin does. Mm-hmm. You also get access to premium content from the people that they pay. And they give you a live streaming studio as a creator on top of it, the Rumble Studio, all for that $9.99 a month. Rokfin wasn't offering any of that, and they want $14.99 a month from creators. I mean, and from users for the premium, for the privilege of watching ad free there and having access to premium content for free for all the people on the platform, which I'm a believer in, not at $15 a month. I said the lack of communication and transparency and the challenges of converting into usable money for your creators are all real things that you're just ignoring because you have no good answers for them. But people see you and we see the numbers. They had a good answer for the USDC. They never communicated it to anybody. We'd have been thrilled to not have to get paid in Ray anymore and have to make 2 conversions. They never told us. And we got stuck holding a bag. I got $100. I'm a canary in the coal mine. I'm a tiny little fish in this whole thing. But people who have hundreds and thousands of Ray tokens sitting in a wallet, they're screwed. And they're talking class action lawsuit. And I see Herb Green in the chat saying, let's bring up the terms of service. All right. Mm-hmm. We only have a certain amount, and that terms of service is for users. There's a different terms of service agreement that creators, quote unquote, signed. I can't find it. It was never printed anywhere. And most of us, everything was done verbally. Literally the first people, when Kit first got his key from Coinbase or whatever from Rokfin, they literally told them to write it down in a notebook with a pencil. That's how it used to work. And I remember our friend Oz from Beauty and the Boomer, he couldn't find the notebook, and they had thousands sitting in an account at one point. They were able to find it and recover it through getting the 12-word key or whatever recovery thing.
Oh my God.
It was a real stress and a hassle, and it was,
I bet.
but thankfully, I believe they got their money out. So thankfully, but
God willing.
in conclusion,
okay, very good.
Rokfin is getting eaten up in the replies to this thread. It should be interesting to see where they go from here, but it looks pretty clear. Look for another upcoming article from me on this topic, which I am here to show, detailing this, adding to the series begun in September. It'll further document that Rokfin has a lack of explanation for any of their behavior, lack of communication with any of their creators, a clear shift to focus almost exclusively on college sports. News of a shift from the raid to USDC at that time was still interesting and being investigated. And have they communicated to their creators about now paying in USDC? No. Are they now bailing on the Ray? Yes. And what do they have to say to current Ray token holders about what's happening to the value and while other crypto's flying? Zip. We never received anything, and we technically still have 2 Rokfin channels, not just 1, but 2.
My God. All right. So now looking at this, it's abundantly clear that there's been a lack of interaction, at least after that tweet. Was there anything more said? Have you had any further response from Rokfin? Did Steve get any further response from Rokfin? I know that you guys have done some collaborations with Slow News Day when they go live, but I mean, one would think that after such a heated argument, especially with horrible poor choices of words, there would be some attempt for maybe dialogue or communication. I just can't believe that it would end right there. Was there an aftermath?
To my knowledge, they have not made any attempt to communicate with me, with Steve. They have responded to the people, the creators that have reached out to them to say, hey, that are angry. But I don't believe that these people, and you're showing on screen, who's had their followers, and this is another thing that's happened already.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Actually, hold on. I want to pause you here because you have talked to me about people losing their followers. Just what the hell happened? What is this? What is it? I don't want to call it a conspiracy, but it is rather odd that automatically out of the blue, people who enjoy these programs like the Political Matrix, Miriam Hain, Bess Martins, all these people, like out of the blue, they beat Thanos out of existence. What the hell happened here?
So we're not really 100% sure, although I'm sure now that it's not a glitch because they sent out an email. Now, the bottom right corner is troubled minds of the 6 images. Those are channels that have had their followers zeroed out. They've had their access to Rokfin removed, so they now would have to pay to subscribe as a user. They are no longer considered a creator on the Rokfin platform. They cannot access their content. They cannot get paid out at all on their content, even though Rokfin has access to it. And they received, one of them, that gentleman received an email from Rokfin that basically said that we're moving toward a more premium model, and because you don't have any premium exclusive content on the platform, we are sunsetting our relationship and we wish you well. And here are the people that emailed, subscribe to your channel at any point. Here it is in a list. Goodbye and have a nice life.
So when you say sunset, does that mean their channel just gets terminated or what?
No, it's still up, but
Okay.
they can't publish any new content to it. They can't disable any of the content that's there, and they can't get monetized for any of the content that's there.
Wow. My goodness. Okay, so these are these people. I mean, was there any chance in which, they've been trying to reach out or at least get things reestablished? Because it shouldn't just end right then and there. I mean, I can only imagine, like, we have both spent countless time sacrificing for both of our channels. I know you work with a collaboration with a great team, but after putting X amount of years in, you just don't want to walk away from something that you put a lot of blood and soul into. It's rather unfortunate that all of their followers go away, and I can understand why people wouldn't have some of their content be premium. You want to be free and available for anyone that can't maybe be a premium subscriber. I mean, do we want to elaborate a little bit more about the difference between like the free and the premium? Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Go ahead.
Yes. So the way that Rokfin has always worked, and they've advertised themselves as an ad-free platform from day one. And we've always been believers in ad-free platforms. Guess what? Odyssey now has also moved to go ad-free as well. So there is now an ad-free platform where you can put all of your content up free and they have no problem with you doing so. So tell me what the value is to Rokfin. Well, it's To them, it's if you offer a premium, if you already have a big audience and you offer premium content that they can only see there, or even if you paywall it for a week and then make it available to everyone. Remember, the wonderful Whitney Webb is also on Rokfin. She puts her podcast there. And for premium subscribers, her podcast is up for 1 week, and then it becomes free and available to everyone after 7 days. She's the only person really I know on the platform that does that. I don't think that with the model that the rest of us have, multi-streaming to different platforms for free, that really works for us. So they weren't really interested in having somebody like us because we don't offer any unique value proposition for any reason for anyone to go to Rokfin, especially now that Odyssey's ad-free and you got a bigger audience and a bigger chat over at Rumble, and Rokfin has its own technical deficiencies on top of the fact that there's this weird Ray token thing. You've really got to be dedicated at this point and want to have a destination to want to stay there and put premium content there, which none of us are really willing to do.
So one person, Javier, writes, Indy, I think you should reach out to CoffeeZilla. Yes, I think CoffeeZilla is a great source of information.
You know what?
And
very funny.
Go ahead.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did just that. So on Sunday, I went through a series of tweets where I actually did tweet a summary of this story to CoffeeZilla to say, hey, I think this might be a story that you'd be interested in because it is a crypto scam. Okay, where they are screwing over creators and they are zeroing out channels, and they're moving towards an NCAA contract that they made with Flow Sports, which they announced at the end of September, right around all this time that the monkey business of late payouts was happening. So they were getting an influx of cash. They started to focus more on wrestling. I noticed that more of their Twitter and more of their focus was toward the college and pro wrestling, but not like WWE, but like Greco-Roman style wrestling. And that was really where their focus was. It was where their origins and their roots had started. But they got a pretty big contract, and then they were offering a premium subscription service for people, $20 a month to watch unlimited college wrestling, Division II, Division III. This is, their wheelhouse now. They tweet about it every day. They don't tweet about independent media. They don't tweet about the Rokfin platform. They tweet about wrestling.
And no, not ECW or WCW, WWE. It's the other kind of wrestling, the Greco-Roman wrestling, right? All right. So now we're looking at this Rokfin paying in USDC, RE token abandoned. I think people really want to know just overall, especially when we want to reach out to people like CoffeeZilla, who has done phenomenal work.
Amazing.
It's especially, calling out the meme coins, which if you haven't been paying attention, he did a total breakdown of the Haktua coin as well as the Libra coin that impacted the country of Argentina. So you went to email the words Rokfin USDC and you found this one email that you mentioned earlier.
I searched it. Yeah, I searched my email. So, again, we talked about this earlier, but when I said, had they ever messaged us anything about USDC and Ray? There was one email, and it was from June of 2022, and it's very technical, and it's a little confusing. And I remember I have a record that I forwarded it to our friend Oz, so I saw that it was important enough that because he was also a Rokfin creator, I wanted to make sure he saw it. We talked about it, and I believe that I had trouble accessing Uniswap, which is what it tells you to do to change liquidity pools. I don't remember if I reached out to them or had any kind of trouble with that. I don't remember. It was almost 3 years ago. And we never made that swap. So we weren't on this Uniswap USDC, which meant that we were paying higher fees and we were getting paid in Ray, which meant that at some point when the Ray now is turned off, that Ray would be worthless.
And this was all taking place in 2022, at least according to that email, correct?
Well, that email was in 2022. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
So for 3 years, some creators that got that email and took action and were able to switch from Uniswap, they were getting paid in USDC the last 2+ years. They had no idea what I was even talking about when I was talking about Ray tokens. What do you mean? We don't get paid in Ray tokens. They didn't even tell me that. Nobody said a word about that. some creators weren't getting Ray tokens for more than 2 years. What? But we were getting paid out in this fake shit coin magic beans that had no value anywhere else, when you could have at least been paying us in USDC that I could take anywhere in exchange for $1. What? Yeah, I would love to see Nico talk about this too. That would be nice. Not to call him out or anything. Shout out to Nico. Nico's the godfather of Rokfin. Nico's the reason that all of us know about it. The reason that any of us are on there, because he led to Fee and Pasta and Steve and several others getting a channel there, which then spread out and branched out from there. And all of us got our channels basically through Nico.
Wow.
So again, not to call him out. Look, everyone has their own thing, but I'm seeing what's going on here, and I've reached out to say, hey man, do you still have a wallet with Ray tokens? Do you know what's going on here? Because it's kind of important. Have you been in touch with anyone at Rokfin? I haven't heard a word.
Okay. Right.
But so this is the proof that they actually did sunset the token and that it was no longer active, according to this CoinLore website, which tracks the price of coins as of February 17th. There is no longer and that was the lifetime value and chart on the token from the time it had started till the time it was sunset.
Right. And I'm looking at 2021 when it reached at its heights. I remember that. And CoinLore, it's right here saying the coin is inactive. We have not got a price information for it. The last time we got price info was February 17th, 2025. If you think this is an error, please contact at coinlore.com. So highest price February 2021, $4. A solid $4. Best month was August. Worst month, March. Well, Indy, what is the okay, and whoa, look at this. This is from Ron Placone. I'm no longer on Rokfin. Engagement had little more than a spam dump, but I know there are still some folks who tune in there. They nixed my channel without warning because I don't put content behind a paywall. Please follow elsewhere on Patreon for as low as $1 a month. So that's coming from Ron Placone himself. So that's a pretty.
It shut Ron down too.
Wow. And
okay.
You mentioned there was a couple other people that have also had some problems with the Rokfin account. Can would you mind elaborating who those people were?
Yeah, Marcus Cage from the Political Matrix. James Corbett from the Corbett Report is the biggest name so far that I've heard. Courtney Turner, she's got a pretty big channel as well. And then Mariam Hanine, she's the bee lady. She and I have been talking, and she's fired up. She would like to get a bunch of creators together and put together some kind of a class action lawsuit and file collectively and fight this.
Okay. Wow. So, what's the future for INN News, especially on Rokfin? Because there's been obviously I did see one video in particular where you wrote, "Hey, here's why we're not going to be on Rokfin anymore." Because I think a lot of people want to know, like, all right, is Rokfin just going under? Is it just going to disappear? Is it still going to be around? What form will it take? Because a lot of us were really on board with it way early on in the 2020 2021 era, where there was the max supreme censorship, and before then, even the fact that they said that now platforms are now more open to the truth. First of all, I have not gotten that memo, because you still got to be very careful here on a lot of these social media platforms. And yes, while Rumble, Kick, or X have their own different times or different things in regards to how they handle content, I mean, there are some things that you cannot do, and there's also some BS reasons why a channel would be taken down or terminated. I mean, it's a confusing system where the rules change all the time, every time. So what lies in store for Rokfin, at least in your opinion?
Rokfin is moving on from independence, and the reason being, and there's a section of my article that has an announcement from Flow Sports, and that's where I think they're moving. Is they're focused on the wrestling world. They don't give a crap about us. They're basically tolerating us at this point, we had a good gig and a good run at one point. If you're not going to make your content premium, yeah, they'll take your tips, but it's not making them any real money. Where they're making money is from the NCAA to to distribute this wrestling content. So for them, independent creators were just another source of revenue. But when they signed this new deal and had this new offering last year, I think they, without telling anybody, just decided to move in a different direction. And in a way, it reminds me of The Office with Milton, where they just fixed the error and he stopped getting paid out. And it's not that we stopped getting paid out, but we watched the value of the token drop to zero. And we watched the value of what was being, paid to them not change. They were getting paid out in dollars. Like, the whole thing just set wrong with me. But I do think there will be a survival for them. I don't know if they're going to get paid out in tips. I think they're going to charge a monthly subscription for $20 a month for people to access their wrestling content, and they'll survive as long as they survive because college sports pays out well.
Mm-hmm. Then again, I wouldn't gamble on that too much because, if you were once known as a harbor for people to speak the truth and now you're giving it up, let's be clear here. I mean, you have, YouTube kind of sort of is making some changes. You have Rumble in some extent, and obviously Rumble and Kick and X or all these other platforms have their own kind of different terms of services. But if you are incapable of adapting or either that, not having your platform be relevant, much like how corporate media is hemorrhaging all of its staff members. I mean, you're seeing what happened with ABC, CNN, MSNBC. Please explain to me how you're not heading down to the road of extinction. So, I might be repeating myself, but how is it that then we won't get to a scenario where, I don't know, it's gone? He
wants to get bought for the contract. That's effectively what he's doing. He's niching himself to the point where somebody like Rumble says, I'd really like to broadcast NCAA wrestling and add them to my collection. And I've got a ton of money coming in from Tether. And therefore, I'll buy the contract out from Martin and become the exclusive home. I got better technology than Rokfin has anyway. Everybody wins. The NCAA wins. Martin wins. Rokfin's viewers win. The wrestling community wins. Everybody wins. Mm-hmm. That's what I think is eventually going to happen. I actually wrote an article 6 months ago about why I thought Rokfin would be an ideal candidate, an acquisition candidate for Rumble. And one thing has happened since then that changed my mind a little bit, which is that Rumble doesn't really need Rokfin for anything but that contract. Now Rumble also has aligned with a stable coin, and not the one that Rokfin is, but with Tether, USDT, not USDC. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that has any impact or they just flip it from one to the other. I still think that it could potentially be a good target because Rumble has a lot of sports content that would overlap well with the NCAA wrestling, the Barstool Sports, the slap fights, UFC stuff. It fits well with the audience that's currently watching content on Rumble, and they're looking to branch out and get more content. So I think that it works in a couple of ways. I don't know how much they would actually get for that. There was also a family lawsuit involving Martin suing his brother. Martin and his sisters had a lawsuit with his brother. I don't know if it was settled or what that was exactly, but I'm really frustrated at the fact that the only communication I've gotten from the CEO of Rokfin after asking all these questions and being a believer and a supporter for all these years is, I'm sorry you're not happy and let's get you out of here.
All right. Look, let's break this down here. You have a platform. All right. You were once known as a harbor for bringing in people to speak truth to power. And then automatically you do this quick 180 talking about offloading and removing. I don't see the value in that, and I don't really like the idea of doing that to people who spend time. I know a lot of people did spend time promoting it. So we do need to speak a little bit more about this and just kind of get to the bottom of this. I want to hold out for the audacity of hope. Maybe that's my idealism playing in here, where you have a chance for people to say, okay, let's hit the refresh button and let's try and make things work again. But it doesn't look that way, especially when you have an RE token that's no longer being acknowledged. You have the fact that change is happening, people losing their followers, a lot of instability. And in turn, we've even had people say to us, hey, Kit, I'm going to be watching you either on X or on Kick or on YouTube or on Rumble. I canceled my subscription on Rokfin. I mean, it feels as though the party is done, and we're just going to.
It's sad, but yeah, it's sad. I kind of agree. I didn't want to see it go this way either. I was hoping that we would have an ad-free home and a platform that actually supported creators and gave us the ability to monetize without having to use the traditional banking Peter Thiel Stripe outlet and still get money into our bank. Unfortunately, what we've seen is that Rokfin has not supported creators technically and financially anymore. So, what we're doing personally is we have not been, other than that one video explaining to people why we're not here anymore, we've stopped putting content there. We're on 7 other platforms. So we're on YouTube, of course. We're on Rumble. We're on Odyssey. We're on Kick. We've got over 100 followers ourselves. We're catching up, and we're going to 1 million together.
Hey, listen, I'm going to be the world heavyweight champion. I'm going to be taking over.
We're doing it together. That's all right.
Yeah,
we'll take $9.99 when you get to
All
1
right.
million.
Done deal.
All right. We're also on Twitch, though very few people watch there. All right.
Listen. I don't want to tell you what to do, but Twitch is, unless you're willing to bow to CEO Dan and get and do the massive amount of glazing like how he does over Hassan Piker, ain't nobody ever going to make a big footprint on Twitch.
No, we've always streamed there. They don't kick us off, but they don't stop us from streaming there. But the thing I'm most excited about is that I'm building a website right now where we're going to self-host our streams in addition to being on all those platforms. So you'll be able to go to a website and watch our live stream and chat and interact with a Discord channel that will chat back and forth with the stream. So you'll be able to engage with the stream and watch the thing without having to be on any platform other than a self-hosted website. And that's coming within the next week or two, hopefully. I've been playing with it. The Discord server is up. People have been chatting in it. They really enjoy doing it. Mm-hmm. They say that the chat is actually superior to YouTube chat, and people on YouTube can actually see the chat go back and forth from Discord. People on Twitch can actually see the chat back and forth from Discord. So I'm really geeked about that. We can also see the chat from Kick into Discord, although it doesn't go back the other way. That's a Kick limitation. Mm-hmm. And Rumble, we can see the chats coming in now. If you push out using that new connection and restream, we have a way to do that too. And that's really exciting. So, that's our restream platform that gives us the ability to relay chat and connect it with Discord, so that now we have a permanent record of the live stream chats. You can go back and see a live stream chat from a week or two ago and see what everybody was posting. Plus, you can post in animated GIFs in there. You could post in emojis and reacts, unlike what you could do on a YouTube or others, some of the other chats that disappear, by the way, or you have to go and watch the replay and hit the timestamp. This is just a scrolling permanent record of the chat. Very cool. So, again, I think that we're going to end up kicked off of all the platforms because of what we say, just like we've been feeling like for since 2020. We're playing platform whack-a-mole. It's time to pick up and start making some moves again. Mm-hmm. Maybe time to start looking for new distribution hosts or figuring out a way to distribute it ourselves even, and look to replace the restream. Take one step further. Every time I log into Restream, I see a damn Ukraine flag. I can't stand that. But they got a program that nobody else has at a level that I can't match. So I got to use it. But man, I would love to replace that. So there's a lot that we want to still do. And I think that there are a lot of smart technical people and creators out there that can work together to do that. And I've already been in touch with several. And this is still just the beginning. We're still just babies in this space. And the thing is we're up against massive giants with huge amounts of pockets. And we're just like the scrappy grassroots, no money, but we have passion and we have skills and we have the people.
Wow. All right. Well, let's be clear here on this one, Indy. I definitely am proud of the work that you've done here, and I'm glad that you took time out of your evening to be on my show so we can talk a little bit more about what's happening with Rokfin.
Sure.
I am ever hopeful that maybe there can be a turnaround. I don't want to see things fail, and I don't want there to be any kind of negativity. I think there's way too much negativity here, but I'm glad you were able to give your piece, and I'm glad that you accepted my invitation to be on my show because you've done a lot for us here at Hardlands Media. And I, in turn, believe in this, and that is when somebody is in trouble who's helped me out, I'm going to help them out in turn because that's the right thing to do. That's my method. That's how I believe in it. And maybe more word of this gets out and there can be, I don't know, a return to normalcy like how things used to be. But that's just, again, my hope. Hope in one hand, crap in the other. See which one fills up faster here. So,
I want freedom. I want freedom. Freedom from the platforms. Freedom from having to pay a VIG to YouTube every time a viewer wants to pay me because they enjoy what I'm putting out there. There's no reason for them to have to take that kind of cut. I don't want to have to pay Rumble 50% on a Rumble rant. Everyone who's listening, don't pay for Rumble rants. Pay for channel subs. Channel subs pay Kit 100% on Rumble. That little red subscribe button and that little red present button, both of those pay 100% of the money to Kit. The green button to the left of it, Rumble takes half. And then he's got to pay Stripe on top of it. I'm just going to inside baseball and lay it out for everybody because nobody else wants to talk about this stuff. The streamers are too, look, they don't want to bum you out with this stuff. They don't want to bog your head down. But I think it's important for us to help guide the audience to teach people where the best place to support the streams are. If that's at Patreon, like subscribing on a monthly or an annual basis. An annual subscription at Patreon is awesome for Hardlands Media. All right. Yeah, there are other ways to do that where the fees are much lower and a lot more of that money ends up in your creator's pocket. Because look, you're giving $5. I don't want $2.50 to go to Rumble. I want $5 to come to, and you want $5 to come to us. So
right, exactly. And look, I tell people, hey, listen, if you want to help out the show, consider being a patron supporter. That really helps keeps the lights on. We got our PayPal link as well. We also have, of course, yes, I know people are saying like, oh, well, what about the YouTube super chats? Well, that's fine if you want to do that too. Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like all of that? But being a patron supporter helps out. Super chats helps out. PayPal, we got all that links in our Linktree, Peachtree here, you know, just in case anybody wants to see it here, because I want to give a huge shout out to Indy from INN as well. I want to make sure that people see your stuff here too. So here's our Peachtree, Linktree, you know, YouTube, X, Rumble, Kick, Discord, where all my party animals are at, Patreon, PayPal, and Instagram. And then, of course, hey, look, here's INN. Check them out. Look at all this stuff. Indy at INN. This is all their stuff. Follow them on all their social media. They got all this good stuff. They're doing a lot of great work. And if you're not following them, please do so. I mean, look, they even got Jesse Jet here. Okay. Who doesn't love Jesse Jet?
We've got the Ocho. We have a channel called the Ocho where boats smashing into other boats and pro wrestling talk with Angel and Miss Witchy Perfect it resides. We wanted a channel for kind of the lighter side of INN so that the INN channel, the YouTube algorithm understood more that we were focused on news and politics and current events versus sports and reaction and fun. And, you know, Jesse Jet with music is kind of enough. It pushes the envelope on that, but it still talks enough about current events and politics that I think it fits. But I just felt like, and the Ocho is doing great, by the way. Angel's been putting up shorts, 500, 700, 1,000 views per short on the Ocho. He wouldn't get that number of views on the INN channel. So I think it was better for the content for them. And I think it's better for the INN channels as well. And, you know, it better defines for YouTube what's on that channel. So check out the Ocho, youtube.com/INN8 the Ocho, just like that. It's an homage to ESPN 8 the Ocho from Dodgeball, of course. And again, for the lighter side of stuff, we're going to do more sports related content on the Ocho going forward. I know Angel's ready to do his baseball preview stuff there.
Can't wait for that, my friend. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, so, and then tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, I did a one-on-one with Golden Monarch in the chat. Friend of the show.
Yes,
family.
I saw that. Then I actually liked it. I'm going to put some gators in the chat for Golden Monarch. He's been a treasure trove of information, especially about the scary and also fantastic world of cryptocurrency. Because, hey, I got a meme coin for you. In fact, I got such a great meme coin, Indy, that I want to tell you all about it. It's the best kind of meme coin ever. It will make you rich.
It's Kitcoin. Oh no! Oh no!
Right. That's right. Buy
I blame
your
bad
cookies.
I blame bad cookies. Who, by the way, was on with Mikhail earlier tonight. So go check out Noteworthy on Abby Don't's channel for bad cookies and Mikhail breaking some stuff down. I caught that. I was just kind of popping around. That's what I do is I amplify independence. I did a one-on-one with Gen X Girl 1994 talking about Israeli Hasbara and the operation that they're putting forth here through Beitar USA and the Zionists of America. Check that out. I'm trying to do a lot more interviews and bring in people that people really hadn't heard of or heard from before, but are doing great work on Twitter, on Substack, and elsewhere.
Right. Rock and roll, man. So I think as a final note, you mentioned some shows that are going to be happening Friday and Saturday. So besides that, Indy, you know what? Always open to have you on as a guest co-host for Hardlands Media, especially when it comes down to doing all this good stuff here. But we got music here by Jesse Jet. You know what? It's long overdue, but I need to have Jesse Jet on for another evening live stream again. I got to do that. That's
long overdue. So we also do every Friday night, we do a clip show right about the time Kit does his Patreon show, or right about the time he raps. We're live with a clip show on INN, and it's all Jesse Jet songs and spoken word till about 1:32 in the morning Eastern. I also wanted to mention Sunday night. How do we miss that? That's the main news show that Reef and I have been doing, the flagship show for INN, along with INN News. Sunday is going to be episode number 150, man. 150 Sundays.
On, there you go.
150 Sundays. Well, it started out Saturday night, midnight. Again, how do we miss that? It was going to be a late night Saturday show, but it was just too late. We were wrapping up at 3 a.m. It was crazy. So we moved it to 10 o'clock Sunday night, and we've been doing that for more than 2 years at that time slot. And yeah, episode 150, really excited about that Sunday night. So come check that out.
I'll be more than happy to tweet it out and share it on social media. So there you go.
Thanks, fam.
All the best then, folks. So listen, Indy, I know this was a lot to get off your chest, especially with what you've been doing with back and forth with Rokfin. So I want to send myself, all the best to you and your team. I'm hoping this can get all squared away. I'm hoping that Rokfin will be able to at least hear what you're saying. Same thing. All my best to Steve as well from Slow News Day. But everyone that's tuning in and watching right now, thank you so much for making time out of your evening to join us here. This was a very special evening live stream. So because it's so special, we got some music by Jesse Jet. So Indy from INN, any other final words before we head on out down the Fury Road?
That's first. And then also support independent media because we need it more than ever.
There we go. All right. There you go. All right. Awesome then, folks. All right. So listen, tune in tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central. I have a special guest co-host, Nick Thompson. He's the one who coined the phrase glorified parades instead of protests in front of Trump Tower. He'll be joining me as a special guest co-host. So it'll be a tag team champion Friday episode of Hardlands Media. So we're very appreciative of all the support. Indy, hope to have you back on again very soon. And now sit back, relax, and let's listen to some music from Jesse Jet. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah. Anytime, man. I'm a Jesse Jet. I'm the ultimate Jesse Jet stan. So I'll listen to Jesse anytime. Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to save. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to say. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe?
Fresh off the masses, the brand new cancerous growth, who has come here to vie for your vote. Come here to cry at the camps and to mourn at the shore for the bodies that float by the wreck of an immigrant boat. Then it's back to their luxury home, couple security booths and a moat. Couple cigars, little escargot, little booze and a soak. Just breathe in the steam and the smoke. Pink salt, lavender, candles are low. Shit, when you do what you do, gotta lighten the load. And he got a life of his own that's a sight to behold. And it's a lot to control, to decipher the code, or to siphon the soul. The cost of a good night's sleep for the working elite is a bargain, no matter the toll. Worth any wager, and that comes straight from the mouth of the means to the goal that will swallow us whole. Ripe for the picking if you don't mind mold, and you know I don't. Maybe we're pleasantly prone, maybe we're taking a licking, compliantly ticking and ticking and ticking, but never explode. No, I don't deliver the prettiest image, but damn if it isn't an accurate vision of natural fission, of rage at the system and abject heartbreak, patiently waiting for any who will listen. That little blue bird who was watching your words is a federal carrier pigeon, a Langley first. It's a patient observer who hears what it wants and is trained for the worst. Oh, you got nothing to hide. They'll be the ones to decide that after they root through your purse, after they read all your text, after they raid your apartment, confiscate all of its contents, then conjure up evidence out of the air on a wing and a prayer and malicious intelligence nonsense. Any presumption of innocence long since gone, right along with your comforts and constants. Historically first they will come for the communists. So why in the fuck would I say I'm a communist? Well, it might be I love my community more than the monsters of opulence who are holding us hostage, who are vomiting promises. Might be I'm all done seeing our pensions and benefits harvested. Might be I'm all done watching the populace being disarmed in the guise of an armistice. Watching a woman collapse on the floor who will rise no more. She's wheeled out the door and you're next in line for the pharmacist. If you can get me to vote, it's a hard no confidence. But part of the charm of deception is politics wearing the mask of incompetence. It's all in the art of austerity, darling. It's all in the slide of the providence. Until home is as wide as your cubicle height and is only as deep as your coffin is. Maybe I'm miles away from impatience, aching to break off the head of the snake where the capital lust, reptile brain, and the margin of profit is. Like off with his. Like off with his.
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to save. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe?